Hopefully. Hey everybody, had a request to show my skinning puller slash skinning machine, so here goes. I'm going to show you what it looks like. If you want to see it in action, that won't take place until next October, so drop me a request sometime in October if you want to see it working, and I'll try to show it then. So my skinning machine basically went through like an evolutionary process, really, but when I turned this into a fur shed, I insulated my ceiling, and then I vaulted this section right up here so I could maximize my height to hang my skinning gammer on. And I'll explain this pulley in a second here. So basically, I had this one pulley right here. I got about 9 feet of height out of that, so when my gambrel hangs down here, I had about 8 feet of height to the back of the legs, right in this area. So then this was just hooked to a rope, and it went down here, and I had a second pulley right in this area right here, and I could pull my rope and raise and lower my animals by a rope. And a buddy of mine, he told me he had a winch for sale for cheap, so I bought this winch off of him. I think it's a Harbor Freight winch, but works pretty good. It's a 120 winch, and I hooked that up, and that was awesome for just raising and lowering coyotes. When you get like a 40+ pound coyote and you're trying to raise it and lower it by hand, it can be a drag. So that made it really nice just to raise and lower the animal to just for skinning purposes. Then I saw some videos and read some stuff about skinning machines, and I thought, well, I got the winch already hooked up, so I mounted these I'm not even sure what they're called. I don't know, tow hooks or something, whatever. I mounted these in the floor, and I made I had that chain. I could put that chain on the floor, and I took just some cheap vice grips from Walmart, a couple bucks a piece really. I welded some 1/2-inch stock right there to grab a hold of the animal, the fur. Then I welded just a little chunk of metal right there. I think it's just a hunk of chain or something, half of an S-hook or something. I welded that onto the backside of the vice grip so that I could hook it onto my chain. Have a small piece of chain there. Hook the fur, hook that, and then the winch action would just pull the fur off. Worked great on something like a raccoon or something, but I only had 8 feet of room, and that was not enough room to pull a coyote. So, I mean, you would have to pull the coyote some, rehook it back up. It got to be a pain, really. So, instead of those hooks right there, I put some eye bolts way in the corner of my shed. Got my chain hooked up there instead. It's out of the way a lot better. So now from that corner up to this pulley that I mounted here, I can hook and unhook this pulley. Like if I'm doing a fox or something, I unhook that pulley and I just skin a fox normal. I got another pulley right here that can pull, and it shoots at an angle down to that corner. This did two things for me. It gave me about 12 feet of room, 12 feet of pulling space, which is plenty for a coyote now. I can just take the coyote, I hook up once I skin around the back legs, hook the fur up with these. I lower the coyote down to my chain, hook that onto there, and start pulling the coyote with a winch. You pull a little bit, you cut a little bit. You don't want to just try to rip it off with the winch altogether, especially with a coyote, because I mean, there can be a bugger at the shoulders, but you just pull and cut, and it works really well, in my opinion. Like a raccoon, though, it'll just rip the hide right off of that thing. It works really slick with raccoons. So if you catch tons and tons of raccoons, this thing is a cat's meow for real. So that's pretty much it. It's sort of just something that I kept changing and adapting until it worked really well. Oh, the other thing that I said, it did two things for me. When I pull at an angle like this, I realize the angle here is not flat, but it's just not vertical. If I could do this over again, and if I had the space, if I had a great big shed, I would rebuild this thing and make it like a horizontal pulling machine and have the coyote or whatever horizontal. I notice when I'm pulling it at this angle, a lot less blood comes out of the animal, especially out of the mouth and getting all over the fur as you're pulling it off. When if you could have that thing horizontal running that way, I'm quite certain that the blood would be minimal pouring out of the animal. And if it does come out of like a bullet hole or something, it's just going to go straight down instead of running all over the fur. It worked really well. So that's pretty much it. Once the animal, the hind feet's in here, lower the critter down once you get it around there, hook it up and pull the fur off of it. Like I said, that little pulley there worked out pretty slick, and it was just something that I just kept adapting and changing. So that's my fur puller / skinning machine. If you want to see it in action, drop me a line or drop me a comment or a question or a request come October, and I'll show the thing in action, either probably with a raccoon or a coyote, whatever I catch first. I don't use it for fox, especially not red fox. I've never ever used it on a red fox. So, all right, out here. Hope you enjoyed it, and got some other videos on NAFA coming up.